Welcome back to D20 Tactics. On this channel I play Dungeons & Dragons with my friends, and we explore combat scenarios and play out the tactics used to defeat monsters quickly and safely, giving you more time to get back to roleplaying. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Sarson Zero, and this week we have a recap of the dungeon recently completed by AzureWolf, BlindOracle, Fear No Equal, and Chron. First, I'll replay the 6 encounters that made up the Underdark excursion, and then we'll talk about the encounters that we thought deserved more commentary. If you recently watched those encounters, I'll put a timestamp for the start of the discussion in the description below. All of our heroes made it home after this one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. The adventurers are traveling great distances and are trying to take a shortcut. They're going to go through the Underdark, but unfortunately they bought a map that was not up to snuff and sent them down a series of wrong passageways, and this is the comedy of errors of them trying to get their way through the Underdark and off to their above-ground destination. Is anybody pre-casting any spells?
I am precasting Mage Armor and our ritual casted Find Familiar for my Owl.
I'll be casting Aid. I'll be casting at level 2 on BlindOracle, AzureWolf, and Fear No Equal.
Hit points, ability, spells, items in hand.
90 out of 90 hit points. I have my great axe in hand, and I'm wearing my plate armor.
BlindOracle, I have 62 out of 62 hit points. I am holding my +1 shortbow.
AzureWolf has 61 hit points. My Wand of the War Mage in my hand, along with my spellbook. And I have used up 1 first level spell slot, leaving me with 3 second level spell slots, 3 third level spell slots, 3 fourth level spell slots, 1 fifth level spell slot remaining.
So I have all 75 of my hit points. I currently still have 2 channel divinities, 4 castings left of my level 1 spells, 2 castings left of my level 2 spells, 3 castings of my level 3, 3 castings of my level 4, and 1 of my level 5 spell slot. And I am holding in my hand my Warhammer and my +1 shield.
After that, we're going to go to monsters' abilities, items, and numbers. As is tradition, the first encounter is a single target enemy. There is a fire giant sitting around his campfire, minding his own business. Fire giants have great swords, and they have rocks. They're going to throw rocks at you. It's their ranged attack weapon that they have. It flies for 60 feet, and it hits for a boatload of damage. They also have great swords and plate armor, bringing them up to an AC of 18. As one would imagine, they're immune to fire, and they're really good at grappling, so maybe that'll get fun. Terrain and effects. This is the terrain layer. There's a bunch of pieces of difficult terrain around the perimeter of the camp. Campfire in the middle, fairly large, as it would take to warm a fire giant. The central fire is 2d6 fire damage if you get pushed into it, and then there is a canal of lava, which is dangerous terrain. The lava around the outside is 8d6 fire damage if you get dropped into it. Tactics. What do you guys think for tactics for fighting a fire giant?
This feels like Tank and Spank. Get in close. Don't let him get past us. Pound on him.
I don't have any objections.
Seems like it's pretty straightforward. No other thoughts on that?
For the squishies, don't get caught.
Exactly.
If it does seem like he's going to get in on the squishies, I can try and grapple him? Can I try and grapple him, or is he too big?
He is huge.
He's huge.
I've seen this boss fight in Elden Ring. He's actually going to grapple himself and tear off his own leg.
Target of the grapple must be no more than 1 size larger than you, so you cannot in your current shape. If you got enlarged by the wizard, you could do it.
But that's probably more work than necessary.
If it's your dream, I can help you, buddy.
Despite recent events, grappling is not my thing. Yeah, we'll just flank him, keep him from getting to the squishies without taking attacks of opportunity, and then just pound on him.
Sounds good. Everybody go ahead and roll for initiative. Anybody have higher than a 20? Anybody have between a 20 and a 15? Anybody have between a 15 and a 10?
Oh boy.
The rogue has a 10.
This is good news.
Anybody have between a 10 and a 5?
Duke Allington's got a 9.
Fighter has an 8.
Cleric has a 7.
What do you got, wizard?
3.
2 for the giant. BlindOracle, you're going to start us off.
Yes. First order of business, bonus action, hide. Throw that die for you. 1 moment. 33.
That'll probably hide.
You never know. Then I'd like to move all of my movement east. That should put me right there. And then let's see if I can draw a line of sight to that giant.
Yeah, you got him.
You know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so we're taking shots. 26 to hit
26 will connect.
for 27 points of damage.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Please move him 4 east and diagonal to the east 1. Dodging, because I can't get him in range.
Makes sense. Fear no equal.
6 squares to the east, 6 squares to the southeast. We're going to dash, get in close, draw fire.
Beautiful. Chron.
I will be doing likewise.
After that, we're going to go to the AzureWolf.
Can you move me 5 east, north 1, and right in front of the rogue, please? And I'll cast Firebolt. It's all I got, and he's immune to it, but I'm going to hit with a 1.
After that, we're going to go to the giant. We're going to get 1 turn of rock throwing for the squishy, so we'll take it. We're going to throw at the wizard. We're going to line up a better line of sight so you don't get any cover. 20 to hit you. 6, 12, 22, 29. Take 29 points of bludgeoning damage from the rock.
Works for me.
After that, we're going to go to top of the order, BlindOracle.
Trying to see if there's a place I can hide. One moment.
You can get behind this outcropping here.
Yeah, we'll do that. Move behind the outcropping. Bonus action hide. Let's do that in the right order. 27 to hide.
27 will do it.
Sneak out and shoot, and then pop back into the rock outcropping. 25 hits. 27 points of damage.
After the BlindOracle is the owl.
6 east and the call dodge against the wall there.
After the owl, we go to the Fear No Equal.
3 spaces east, and then 3 spaces along his north side. All right, attack number 1. That is a dirty 20 to hit
20 connects.
for 16 damage, and a 16 to hit.
16 is a miss. Bashes into his steely plate.
Better a steely plate than a steely abs.
Chron.
I'll go ahead and do the same, putting me adjacent, and then I will go ahead and swing. That's going to be 9.
9 is not going to hit him.
Unfortunate.
After that, we're going to go to the AzureWolf.
I will Ray of Frost. 10 plus 10, so 20.
Yep.
16. Let's tuck behind the rogue to get behind the wall here.
I don't want to fight you guys, so I'm not going to. We have a bunch of armor, we have a bunch of hit points. Let's go after the squishies. We're going to move to there, proccing 2 attacks of opportunity, if you want it.
I do, and that's a 19
19 will connect.
for 11 damage.
That is a 8.
8 is not going to hit. We're going to throw a rock at the fighter, because he's easier to hit. 19 to hit you, fighter.
That will just do it.
That's all I need is just do it. 10, 20, 26, 33 points of bludgeoning damage. After that, we're going to go to the BlindOracle.
It would appear you are closing in to bash us, because you are tired of being shot.
I am.
A DM story.
How the Duke boy's gonna get out of this one?
A question. Would it be possible to hide behind the southern pillars?
Yeah, if you could get to him.
Cool. So we're going to dash as far east as I can off of that dash. We're now going to call dodge. And then we're going to move as far south as we can.
After the BlindOracle is the owl.
Fly down, aggravate him for me, the wizard, and let's head towards those pillars.
Fear No Equal.
Close back in and make my attacks. That's going to miss. That first one's an 11. Second one's a crit. 15 total damage. We'll hold the second wind.
Chron, you're up.
It hasn't been going well so far, but I will move forward 2 spaces toward the fire giant and swing again. 13 this time.
13 is going to miss. After the Chron is the AzureWolf.
Best to probably stay up here just to kind of keep him where he can go one or the other, not both. So let's step up Ray of Frost with advantage. 19
That'll hit.
for 12 points of frost damage.
After AzureWolf is the giant. You got a reach giant? Yeah, you have a 10-foot reach. So you're going to make it to... I'm going to go up against a guy who's AC 20, a guy with AC 17 with disadvantage, or a guy with 19. Yeah, we'll go after the rogue. But it's plus 11, so I need a 6 to hit you.
Yep.
Okay, I got a 22, so that'll connect with the first one.
Sure.
Great sword comes down on your head. Oh, the 666 is not going to help. 24, 27, 34 points of slashing damage.
We'll half that.
Half that with a reaction. Sounds good. Second attack, 19 to hit you.
Yeah, that'll hit.
That one's a lot softer. 6, 12, 18, 21, 28.
Ow. I have 17 hit points remaining, so give me the third attack.
That's it. He just has the two greatsword attacks. After the giant, we're going to go back to the BlindOracle.
We still cannot engage at this point. Disengage as bonus action. Move 5 south. Dash 5 south.
That was the BlindOracle. Owl.
Move in, aggravate for the wizard again, and tuck away.
Fear No Equal.
Take my swings from behind him. That is a 16 to hit. Second attack is a 27 for 16 damage.
Chron.
I'm going to go ahead and cast, at level 3, Spirit Guardians.
It's probably overkill.
It might be.
AzureWolf.
Gonna step up into range again and cast Ray of Frost with advantage. 25,
25 will connect.
10 points, and move back.
After that, we're going to go to the giant. Giant's going to start his turn off in the zone. Tell me about the zone.
The affected creature's speed is halved in the area. And when you enter the area for the first time on a turn, or start your turn there, you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, you take 3d8 radiant damage. On a successful save, you take half as much damage. The DC is 17.
He fails. Go ahead and give me some damage.
So that's going to be a total of 15.
15 will drop him. Report hit points.
57 out of 90.
17 of 62.
75 out of 75.
32 out of 61.
Anybody wish to do anything at the end of the encounter?
I wish to use one of my potions.
Before we do that, are we going to ask the cleric for Preserve Life? You want to use it after he gets you to half.
Yeah, so everybody would just have to gather around me, and I can pop one of those for 45 hit points. Oh, and I can restore to no more than half HP.
Will not help me.
I would pick up 15 hit points.
Over half.
And then I think Chron's at full. Other actions, BlindOracle, you still using healing potions?
Yeah, just the one. 2d4 plus 2 HP. I roll 4, and plus 2 is 6.
I will also use one for 7.
The giant has been slain in their lair, but the adventurers still have the wrong route to get through the Underdark and are going to try to see if they can find the correct way out the back of this giant lair.
Where could it be?
Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
38 out of 62 hit points. We are holding our +1 short bow.
57 out of 90 hit points. We are holding our +1 Great Axe. We have our Action Surge and Second Wind both available.
I have my full hit points. I have used 1 Channel Divinity and have 1 remaining. 4 level 1 spell slots, 2 level 2 spell slots, 2 level 3 spell slots, 3 level 4 spell slots, and 1 level 5 spell slot. I'm holding in my hand my Warhammer and my +1 shield.
AzureWolf is currently sitting at 39 hit points. I have my Wand of the War Mage in my hand, along with my spell book. I have 3 first level slots, 3 second level slots, 3 third level slots, 3 fourth level slots, 1 fifth level slot remaining.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. This encounter has a Astral Knight accompanied by an Astral Squire. Many of you know that the Astral entities were enslaved by the Brain Eaters long ago, and then they overthrew their enslaving masters, and their race broke into 2 groups of Astral Knights and Astral Monks. These are definitely legally distinct from other entities you might see in publication, and that's what you guys are fighting.
I was curious about why we were so circumspect about the Githyanki.
About the what?
I don't know what you're talking about. Astral Knights have silver greatswords. Silver greatswords are a pretty formidable weapon on their own, plus they do psychic damage. Astral Squires just have greatswords, but they're pretty good with them. There's no hidden stalactites, there's no hidden monsters, there's definitely not anything hanging from the rafters that's going to come down and bite your heads off. So don't worry about that at all. Stalactites that look perfectly normal are definitely not dark mantles. If they were dark mantles, which again they definitely aren't, they have echolocation, so they can use blind sight. They have false appearance, which makes them indistinguishable from stalactites and stalagmites. They aren't dark mantles, they are stalactites. No need to worry about that. They can also drop down from the ceiling and crush your head, blinding you, suffocating you, and they can cast darkness, and they have blind sight, so that's going to be effective for them. Terrain and effects. Terrain is very simple here. We have a bunch of terrain. One thing to make note of is hard corners versus smooth corners. You cannot go diagonally through a hard corner. You can go diagonally through a smooth corner.
West of the cleric, 5 spaces. Is that a drop or a climb?
There are no drops in here. They are just stairs. Very easy, not even difficult terrain. Up and down is going to be perfectly fine. And then tactics. What are you guys thinking for close confines and suspicious-looking stalactites spread around the cavern?
Now this looks like a good spot for Spirit Guardians. Let them drop on that.
I would agree.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Could also be a fireball opportunity since we're no longer dealing with fire-immune enemies.
Also good.
We could actually choke point this. The question is, do we want to? Because we don't know where those stalactites that are definitely not going to drop on us are.
Would we want me, since I have the highest AC, to step forward, just regular speed, cast a quick bless, and then step forward into the gap? Or do we want to dash forward into the gap? Because if there's a saving throw involved with the falling stalactites, bless could be helpful.
Yeah, I think it just depends on who gets the initiative, because we want to close that gap as soon as possible, whether you or I have to do it. There's 2 channels, so, we can each take one. As far as the saving throw, if I get the fast roll, I'll go in, then you can bless on your turn. If you get the fast roll, then you just go in.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
That this is too nice of a choke point map for you to actually let it be a choke point map. You're going to drop things behind us.
Almost certainly.
If I had to guess, the Githyanki could also be acrobatic enough to get past us.
I really want to do it. I really want to do it. Yeah, he can do it. Cool. I'm going to do it. Go ahead and roll initiative. Anybody have higher than a 20? Anybody have between a 20 and a 15?
I rolled a natural 20. I got a 19.
18, the wizard and the owl. I would like to go first with the owl.
Anybody have between a 15 and a 10?
14 for the rogue.
10 for the knight. What do you got for me, fighter?
9.
Chron, you're up first.
Okay, please move me 8 spaces to the west.
After the Chron is the Owl.
I'm going to move him west 5 and south 1. Dodging.
And dodging. AzureWolf.
Fire a firebolt.
You will need to move to here.
24.
Okay, that'll connect with the Astral Squire.
15 points of damage.
After the AzureWolf is the BlindOracle.
Not a whole lot to hide behind here.
You have people.
Correct. Take the hide action now as a bonus action. 17.
17 will probably definitely do it. Yep.
And then we will move southwest on the diagonal between the fighter and the wizard. Take the shot at the squire. 24 to hit
24 will definitely hit.
for 26 points of damage. And then with remaining move, back on the diagonal.
After that, we're going to go to the Astral Knights and their stalactite friends. Stalactite friend number 1 is going to drop from the ceiling. It's going to cast Darkness. The Darkness moves with the Dark Mantle.
Can I see that thing when it cast it?
It's not a spell.
Okay.
It's a darkness aura that it uses as an action once per day. It is not a spell. You can't counterspell it. But yes, you can see it when it uses its action.
Gotcha.
Dark Mantle is going to move into the darkness and attack the cleric. It has advantage because you're currently blinded. You can't see in the dark. It has blind sight, so it can. It's going to get a 23 to hit you.
That will hit.
Takes 6 points of bludgeoning damage. It attaches itself to you. You become blinded and unable to breathe. Suffocation rules I looked up just for this encounter. Creature can hold its breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus its constitution modifier, which in your case is going to be something like, I want to say 40 rounds. So, make sure you keep track of those because we've definitely had 40 round combats before. You can try to break out of this with an action and a successful DC 13 strength check. The next Dark Mantle is going to move in as well. He has advantage on this attack. He gets a 13 to hit you.
That does not hit.
And the final one is going to cast another darkness and then move them like so, putting all of you guys in darkness. Now that nobody can see them, the knights are going to move. One's going to move to there, and one's going to move to there. They're going to dodge on their turns. After that, we're going to go to Fear No Equal. You're currently in darkness. You can hear things around you, but you can't see them.
We are going to move to the southwest and then the south. And then I'm going to make my attack with disadvantage. That is an 18 to hit
Connects.
for 9 damage. Second attack, also disadvantage. That is a 13 to hit
13 hits a Dark Mantle.
for 10 damage.
You all set?
You know what? I'm going to action surge. Let's just knock this guy out as fast as we can. That is a 12 to hit
12 connects,
for 13 damage.
and that is lethal. The Dark Mantle and the darkness disappear.
Well, that's going to waste me an attack because I can't get into contact with anything. But I'm going to finish my move 2 spaces southwest and 1 space south.
After that, we're going to go to the Chron.
I'm going to go ahead and make a melee spell attack against the Dark Mantle behind me. I'm going to attempt to cast Inflict Wounds.
This requires verbal components, and you cannot breathe.
I see. I guess I just have to attempt to break the grapple. That is a strength check. I don't get the saving throw bonus.
Correct. It's not a save, it's a check. DC 13 strength check.
I got a 19 on the die, making that a 21 total.
You are no longer blinded, you are no longer suffocating, and there is not a Dark Mantle attached to you.
I will move, attempting to put myself between the Dark Mantles and the Wizard. I believe that's 3 attacks of opportunity.
First one is going to get a 24 to hit you.
That'll hit.
It'll get 7 points of damage, and it will attach itself to your head, and then you're going to move to there. And the next one's going to attack you. It's going to get a 19 to hit. I think that's a miss.
That misses.
Another square back. That's a 13 to hit you.
That also misses. Am I suffocating again?
You're suffocating again.
Hmm.
After that is the owl.
Let's get advantage on that face sucker.
4,
Me, the wizard.
and then
Move back.
that's an owl. After that is the AzureWolf.
Going to cast Firebolt on that face sucker with advantage. That is a 20, not natural.
Hits.
That is 10 points of fire. Still up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to the northwest one so the rogue could use me as a hiding tool.
BlindOracle.
You don't need to do that because I can't actually hide from the Dark Mantles.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have a question. If I reach up and poke the Dark Mantle with a sword, do I risk damaging the cleric?
No.
Perfect.
Do you risk damaging the cleric's beard?
Oh, yeah. His beard is going to get all sorts of tentacles in it. Maybe that'll make it better, but I don't know.
It's already charred.
Yep. Draw the short sword, move up, poke the Dark Mantle.
He misses on a nat 1. He hits on a 2.
Perfect. A 12 hits.
12 hits, yeah.
Excellent. So that's 28 points of damage to the Dark Mantle.
That is lethal. Dark Mantle drops off the face of the cleric.
Perfect. I would like to go back to my hidey hole in the corner.
Dash back as a bonus action. You got it. After the Blind Oracle is the Astral Knight. So he cannot. He's going to scoot closer and dodge. He's going to go back up his friend. He's going to scoot closer and dodge. This Dark Mantle is going to move. He's going to move away from the Cleric, but the Cleric can't see him, so he does not provoke an attack of opportunity. He's going to get a 13 to hit.
Miss.
The second Dark Mantle is going to move in there, go after the Wizard. 9 to hit you. Clearly a miss. After that, we're going to go to the Fear No Equal.
Gonna move north, and we're gonna attack this guy with disadvantage. That is a 21 to hit for 16 damage. Second attack. That is a 14 to hit for 10 damage.
10 damage is lethal. The other Dark Mantle is not in darkness anymore.
2 spaces south, 1 space southwest.
After that, we're going to go to the Chron.
I'll go ahead and this time cast Guiding Bolt at first level. 19 total
19 hits.
for a total of 18. And the next strike against it will have advantage. I'll move forward back into the choke point.
And then we're going to go to the Owl.
No point in giving myself advantage because I'm about to go. Let's put him behind the fighter. Dodge.
AzureWolf.
So this thing's on the ceiling, so there's a gap between me. So let's do Firebolt.
No, it is within 5 feet of you.
Okay, Shocking Grass then. That is 27,
27 connects.
10.
10 points of damage is lethal.
So let's move southwest 1 and then south 1.
After that, we're going to go to the Blind Oracle.
You have cleverly moved them behind just enough hard cover that I don't think I get a shot this turn, unless I expose. Bonus action, dash towards the Cleric. Hide action behind the Cleric. That would be a 33 to hide.
Astral Knights. Going to move to there. I can't get through that sharp corner to get to the Wizard, otherwise I would. The Knight is going to throw down with his Silver Greatsword. First attack, 23 to hit you, fighter.
That'll hit.
10 points of slashing damage, followed up by 11 points of psychic damage. Second attack, 16 to hit you.
That will miss.
The Squire is going to... This is what I was talking about earlier. He's going to move 1, 2. He's going to move 1, 2 squares straight at you. That allows him to do a high jump. He's going to jump, which is 3 plus his strength modifier, which is plus 2. That'll give him 5. 5 feet is enough to clear a dwarf. So he's going to move to there with his remaining 2. That's his movement. Rogue is no longer hidden. Then we're going to swing at that with a greatsword. First one, 22 to hit you.
That'll hit.
Take 10 points of slashing and 6 points of psychic together for a total of 16.
We'll have that.
Second attack is a 18, just enough. He'll do 8 points of slashing and 5 points of psychic for a total of 13. After that, we go to the Fear No Equal.
We're just going to open up on this guy right in front of me. That is a 25 to hit
Connects.
for 13 damage. Second attack, 27 to hit
Hits.
for 11 damage. I'm going to go ahead and use my second wind, 16 health.
Chron, you're up.
I'll go ahead and swing at the Astral Squire. Total of 19 to hit.
19 will connect with an Astral Squire.
Total of 8 points of damage.
That's exactly what you needed. The Astral Squire drops.
I'll move southwest 4.
After that, we go to the Owl.
Flyby on the Knight there for the Wizard and fly back.
After the Owl, we go to the AzureWolf.
Can I shoot on the shark?
Yeah, he'll have cover, but you can shoot him.
Nor partial. 28,
28 connects.
16 fire.
After the AzureWolf, we go to the Blind Oracle.
Hide bonus action, 20. Move 5 spaces directly east. Shoot at that point and then finish the movement. He'll have cover, but
Do you want to do this instead? Hide behind the Wizard and then shoot?
I didn't take that because I wasn't sure if I could hide behind the Wizard from there, because it looked like he could still see me. Let's do that then. We'll take the 20 and then we'll take attack roll at advantage. 17 to hit.
17 is not going to hit. He's wearing plate. After that, we go to the Knight. Knight still can't get anywhere. Strength is not good enough to move him out of the way. So we're just going to throw down. First attack, 24 to hit you.
That'll do.
8 points of slashing and 9 points of psychic for 17 total. Second attack, 27 to hit you. There we go. 15 points of slashing and 8 points of psychic for 23 total. That's my guy. After the Knight is the Fear No Equal.
Making my 2 attacks. That is going to miss. Second attack is a 20 for 9 damage.
After that, we go to the Chron.
I will move as close to the knight as I can, and then I will just level 1 inflict wounds. Total of 22.
Connects.
10 damage.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Again, aggravate them for the wizard and get out of dodge.
AzureWolf
Firebolt. That is a 18
hits.
for 13.
And after that, we go to the BlindOracle.
Hide bonus action, 29.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm very good at that roll tonight. Rolling to hit with advantage, 20 to hit.
Yep.
For 28 points of damage.
28 points is lethal. The Astral Knight will drop. Report hit points
12 out of 90.
17 of 62.
39.
out of
61.
61 out of 75.
2 of you are below half. Any pre-rest actions?
That sweet, sweet channel divinity.
If we're resting, then Channel Divinity for 45 hit points up to half. So that'll help too.
BlindOracle, how much do you need to go to half?
15.
Fear no equal, how much do you need to go to half?
I will take the remaining 30. That'll put me 3 points under half.
Hit dice used and total.
I'll roll 2d8 out of my 9 total hit dice. And I've got a total of 7.
I rolled 4.
Rolled 5 for 47. Puts me at 89 out of 90.
I rolled 5 hit dice for a total of 26. That puts me at 58 of 62.
The adventurers perhaps think that this is not the right way to go, but there is only a fire giant lair behind them, so they have to push on deeper into whatever the Astral Knights were investigating here. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
68 of my 75 hit points. I have 1 casting of my level 1 spell remaining, 2 of my level 2 spells, 2 of my level 3 spells, 3 of my level 4 spells, 1 of my level 5 spells, both of my channel divinities, and I'm holding my Warhammer and my +1 shield in my hands.
Full on life, so I got 61 HP, 3 first level slots, 3 second level slots, 3 third level slots, 3 fourth level slots, 1 fifth level slot, and I have my Wand of the War Mage and Spellbook in my hand.
58 of 62 hit points, +1 shortbow in hand.
89 out of 90 hit points, +1 Great Axe in hand. I still have Second Wind, Action Surge, and Indomitable all available.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. So this encounter is between you, a brain sucker, the brain sucker's 4 brain dogs, and a bunch of deep gnomes. What are brain suckers? Well, brain suckers have tentacles coming out of their face, and I think everyone assumes or agrees that they were inspired by the Cthulhu monster, dimensional horrors from beyond the stars, and they suck brains out of your head. The brain sucker has tentacles, it can extract your brain, it can blast your brain, and it's wearing a breastplate, which I think is always really cool. The intellect, nope. The brain dogs are going to try to drain your intelligence and then take over your bodies. They're horrible that way. Essentially like how I'm going to TPK this group. They also have claws. Poor little deep gnomes have already been mentally enslaved by the brain sucker. The deep gnomes are going to fight on its team for this encounter. The deep gnomes have war picks that they can swing. They also have poison darts, and they have some spells that they can cast. They can do blindness, deafness, and blur. They also do disguise self. I don't think it's going to help, nor will non-detection. Terrain and effects. We just have another empty cavern. No difficult terrain, no dangerous terrain, no swimming, climbing, or balancing. A couple of soft corners that you can make your way around. Tactics. What do you guys think for tactics for this fight?
Wizard, I would very much like to fill that room with fire.
That's the plan, as long as it comes down to initiative.
Do you think you'll be able to get to the east side there to shoot it down that tunnel?
You're saying to the southwest, to the east, or go to the east?
Yeah, so go to the east to shoot the fireball straight down to the south. That is an opening there.
That'll catch most of them.
Well, that sounds like a really good plan.
So if I go in that direction with you to help out with the deep gnome, do you think that'd be strategic?
That works.
In that case, we should all just go ahead and head to the east. If we don't beat them to the punch, I think the west side is better for us defensively. So if they get out of that room and spread out before we can fireball them, I think we should go west instead. And then we can just channel them into that one entry and force them to climb over each other.
Boy, doesn't that just sound like a horror movie waiting to happen?
And again, this might be one of those you want to put up Spirit Guardians right at the beginning. That way you can mark us all, and if they walk into our range.
Let's go ahead and roll initiative then.
Ooh!
Anybody have higher than a 20?
21 for the wizard.
Anybody have between a 20 and a 15?
Rogue has a 20.
18 for the cleric.
I'm going to go before you with my 18. Fighter, what'd you get?
10.
Al, what'd you get?
A 9.
AzureWolf.
Think let's stick with the plan.
So there?
Yep.
Fireball.
Think it's worth upcasting this one. Level 4. DC 17. That is a 32.
Westmost brain dog, dead. Now the westmost brain dog, also dead. Now the westmost brain dog. That one will pass. Instead of, 32? It's going to take 16. And then the easternmost brain dog is going to fail, dead. Brainsucker is going to fail and take 32. That's an action and a movement. You good there?
Yeah, that's all I got right now.
After that, we're going to go to the BlindOracle.
Hide bonus action. Let's see if we can pick off that dwarf.
Please don't shoot the dwarf.
Deep gnome, deep gnome. 24. So I believe we have to do this in this order. East 1, southeast 1. I think that's when I have to take the shot on the deep gnome from there. 25.
Yep, that'll do it.
For 36 points of damage.
36 points of damage. We'll drop that guy.
Nice.
What's next?
Let's go east with everything I got left. Perfect.
After that is the Brainsucker. I think the Brainsucker's only going to catch 2 of you, but it needs to catch you guys, otherwise it's going to die. I have a Brain Blast.
I think Psychic Blast is probably permissible.
There's no way they own a trademark on Mind Blast. It's going to get a 60-foot cone. The speed is 6 squares, and we're going to get to there. We can't get the rest of you, though, so we'll just hit the 2 of you. We're going to do a Psychic Blast at you.
This is an ability, not a spell, right?
That's correct. Give me a DC 15 Intelligence saving throw, 21 points of psychic damage, and you're stunned. BlindOracle, pass or fail?
Pass.
Take 10 points of psychic damage. AzureWolf?
Passing.
Another 10 points of psychic damage for you. Brain Dog is going to move 40 feet. Start with the claw. 19 to hit you, Rogue.
Yep, that'll hit.
Take a cool 8 points of slashing damage from the claws. And then as a separate attack, it's going to do a DC 12 Intelligence save against you.
Ah, fail.
Sorry about that. Take 5 points of psychic damage and lose 8 intelligence.
Oh,
Yeah, I assume you are not reduced to 0 intelligence.
not at the moment, no.
The Deep Gnomes, we're going to go to there and throw blindness on the fighter. Fighter, please give me a DC 11 Constitution save.
13, pass.
You pass, you're not blinded. It's going to move to there with a dash to bog you guys down. That's all of my stuff. After that, we're going to go to the Chron.
First, I like to cast Spirit Guardians at level 3, and then I will move up to adjacent with the Brain Dog.
Okay, you're going to proc the 2 attacks of opportunity.
Yes,
First one is a 21 to hit you.
that'll hit.
4 points of piercing. Give me a concentration save to maintain concentration on your spell.
That's the 13 on the die. I pass.
The second one gets a 13 to hit you, which is a miss.
Then that is my turn. No bonus action.
After that, we're going to go to the Fear No Equal.
One step to the east. I think they've got that. I'm going to stay here and deal with these guys. Attack on the western one. Crit.
Okay.
27 damage.
I think that'll drop him.
Move 1 space to the east and attack the guy next to him. That is a 20 to hit.
Hits.
12 damage.
After that, we're going to go to the Owl.
Let's do a flyby on the Brain Dog. For the... I kind of want to put it on the Cleric, but the Rogue I think is better.
And then where's the Owl going after that?
Let's tuck him behind the Rogue.
After the Owl is the AzureWolf.
Can I see what a 10-foot spear would look like in the square southeast of me? That's kind of what I was hoping.
Shatter will hit both of them.
Con DC 17. And your damage is 14.
Con DC 17, and the damage is 14 or 7. Brain Dog is going to fail, cannot survive either way. And the Brain Sucker is going to get 10, so he's going to fail also and take 14 points. That's an action. What else?
I guess move back towards the Owl.
After that, we're going to go to the BlindOracle.
Let's move west 1, hide behind the Cleric. 24 to hide.
Yep,
Then we're going to take a shot at the Mind Flayer. Sorry, shot at the Star Spawn.
there you go.
Sorry, okay, I'm used to my brand name, trademark, delightfully packaged D&D experience. 25 to hit the Tentacle Monster.
25 will hit the Tentacle Monster.
That's good damage. 31 points of damage.
Lethal.
I'm so good at casting Spirit Guardians, guys.
Then I'd like to use the remaining movement I have to put myself opposite the Cleric.
After the BlindOracle is the Brain Sucker's team. This guy is no longer dominated. He freaks out and runs away. There's no reason for him to continue to fight you guys. That procs an opportunity attack if you want it.
That'll be a 23 to hit.
Come back, XP bag.
Yep,
11 damage.
that is lethal. You kill him as he runs away.
There was probably a brain dog in there.
You had no way of knowing he was undominated. You're facing the other way.
Report hit points.
89 of 90.
35 of 62.
51 of 61.
64 of 75.
Any end of encounter actions.
Point and left.
Okay.
At me specifically?
No, at the crispy star spawn.
Sheepishly dispel Spirit Guardians.
I'd rather you have it up than not, and we would have got killed.
It's a 10-minute cast, so you'll have it for the next encounter.
And then I do not do that.
Does the Cleric have Lesser Restoration memorized right now?
Yes, I can in fact cast Lesser Restoration.
I think it has to be regular resto, and I'm not willing to burn a restoration for this.
To end either a disease or condition affecting bad, the conditions are blinded, deafened, paralyzed, and poisoned. So that's not going to do it.
No, it's not. Okay.
I don't believe I have Greater Restoration prepared.
Grader's a 5, so you won't have it, and I'm not going to ask you to burn a 5 on this, because it's not a critical stat for me.
The adventurers don't know this, but I think that's it for intellect devouring enemies for the dungeon.
Yeah, like I said, it's not critical, and I'm not asking for a 5.
And moot point regardless, I don't have it. I have Flame Strike.
You could use that on him.
There you go.
That'll finish up your problem of having remaining hit points.
Hey, if I use Flame Strike on him and then Revivify him, will that do it?
I don't think so.
No, it will not.
It's not just a hard reset?
Adventurers realize that they have definitely taken a wrong turn and start backtracking through the tunnels of the Underdark to try to find the path that they should have been on. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
89 out of 90 hit points, Great Axe +1 in hand, Second Wind, Action Surge, and Indomitable all available.
51 out of 61 hit points. I have 3 first level slots, 2 second level slots, 3 third level slots, 2 fourth level slots, 1 fifth level slot. In my hand is my Wand of the War Mage and my spell book.
35 out of 62 hit points, sneak dice all day. Holding a +1 short bow.
I have 64 out of 75 hit points, 1 first level spell, 2 second level spells, 1 third level spell, 3 fourth level spells, 1 fifth level spell. I have both of my channel divinities. I have currently Spirit Guardians, and in my hands I'm holding my Warhammer and my +1 shield.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. There is an Astral Monk. In fact, there are 2 Astral Monks. Astral Monks have psychic defense. When they're not wearing armor or shield, they have an AC that includes a wisdom modifier, which is going to put their AC up to a 17. They can make unarmed strikes. Those unarmed strikes do psychic damage. They're a lot of fun. They can make 2 of them. And then there's a couple of stalactites that are chilling in this room. No idea where those are. No idea what they're doing. Indistinguishable from piercers. You don't see any piercers, although those would be indistinguishable from stalactites. That's what's going on in here. Terrain and effects. There's a lot of difficult terrain. The crystals are difficult terrain to stand in. They vibrate the area around them, so movement is quite slow. There's a pit that is 60 feet down, so it's a 6d6 fall, and while it is trivially easy to climb out of it, no check required, it will require the slowed movement of climbing, so it'll take you quite a while to get out of there. Definitely don't want to wind up down in that pit. Impassable terrain where the rocks are. What do you guys think for tactics?
Well, they're short ranged and we have Spirit Guardians up, so we want them to come to us. I don't know about you guys, but I think there's some kind of curious stalagmite above that bridge on the north end of things, so I think we should encourage them to cross it rather than us.
Droppy pokey thingies.
So we want to get to the foot of the bridge, as it were?
I think we would just want to take them on this platform that's immediately adjacent to us.
Sounds fine to me.
Any other thoughts, or are we ready to go?
I think we're ready.
Roll some initiative then. Anybody have higher than a 20? Anybody have between a 15 and a 20?
18 for the wizard.
17 for the monks.
Rogue has a 15.
Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
12 for the cleric.
Who's got between a 10 and a 5?
9 on the fighter.
What do you got, Owl?
Big old 2.
Big owl 2.
AzureWolf, start us off.
Shoot something downrange towards the monk.
140 feet to the first one.
So we need to move up 20. Firebolt. 13's gonna miss. Let's move back into the pack.
After that, we're going to go to the monks. The monks are going to try to lure you in. I don't think we're going to be very good at it, but we're going to try. We're going to go 6 and dodge, and then same thing. And then a couple of things are going to happen, and then we're going to go to the Blind Oracle.
Let's go ahead and move 5 squares east, and then hide behind that crystal rock outcropping there. Hide, bonus action, 31.
Okay.
Readied action, shoot the first enemy I see within 80 feet.
After that, we're going to go to Chron.
I don't think I have much to do except move forward. If they're moving down that way, they might be trying to leap the lower gap there. So I'll just go ahead and move as close as I can to the corner of the shelf.
After that is the Fear No Equal.
Southeast, 6 spaces, and dodge.
After that is the Owl.
Let's move him to the east of the fighter, please. Dodge.
Top of the order, AzureWolf.
Let's get in that circle of friendliness. And I don't think I can shoot across because it looks like that thing's in the way, right? Let's ready an action for Firebolt for anything that gets in my way.
Casting it, concentrating on it, and then your reaction is going to be to throw it. After that, we're going to go to the monks. Monks are going to split up. One is going to go to there. The one in the north is going to dodge. The one in the south is going to dash.
If he falls, it is the funniest thing.
Blind Oracle.
Alright, so I am not in difficult terrain currently. I would like to move to the square next to the wizard and north of the fighter. dash action to stand next to the cleric, and then ready to action to once again shoot anything that comes within 80.
After the Blind Oracle is the Chron.
I really don't know what to do at this point. Are we just waiting here?
If Saracen will finally give us an encounter with basically only melee enemies, yeah, we're waiting for them to come to us.
Then I will hold action Sacred Flame.
When you ready action to cast a spell, you concentrate on it, which will bump your concentration of the thing you're previously concentrating on. Is that what you want to do?
That is not what I want to do.
Got it. What do you want to do instead?
I will hold an action readying my hand axe.
Long range or short range?
I'll go ahead and say within long range. I can't have double disadvantage.
Certainly true. After that, we go to the Fear No Equal.
I will move south 4 spaces, southeast 2 spaces, and then I will dodge.
After that, we're going to go to the Owl.
Yeah, same thing. Just dodge it up.
AzureWolf.
Move north 3 and fire downrange. Firebolt. That's a 30.
That's the one with disadvantage, isn't it?
Oh, that's a 28.
28 hits.
14. And move back into the circle of friendliness.
After that, we're going to go to my turn. Jump the gap, dash to there. This guy's going to go dash to there.
Shoot him.
Absolutely, yeah.
21 to hit
21 hits.
for 9 points of damage.
And I'll throw a hand axe at him. That's going to be a 16 to hit.
16 will miss. Those were my monks. Now it goes back to Blind Oracle's turn.
I see that the tops of those columns is considered blocked terrain.
It goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Thank you. I was going to figure out if I could climb up there. Then we are going to move to the other side of the dwarf cleric. Hide bonus action. 23 to hide.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And I would like to shoot the northern astral monk.
Psychic monks, though they may be, they actually don't have perceptive ability to rival your stealth.
Halfling luck kicks in twice. 22 to hit.
Yeah.
That's what we like to call big damage. 33 points of damage.
Beautiful.
That's my turn.
Chron.
He can probably just get around me.
So you can just Sacred Flame him right where you are.
Yeah, I can. I was just trying to see if I could get within 30 feet of him, but...
You're currently within 30 feet of him.
Oh, I'm counting wrong.
If you walk up next to him, it halves his movement speed.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get into melee range with him.
If you stand slightly back, he has to move through more difficult terrain, and you can Sacred Flame him.
That is actually also true, yeah. I'll move 4 Sacred Flame. It has a DC 17. Dex save.
That's what they're really good at. He gets 24, he passes, no damage is taken.
Okay.
After that, we're going to go to Fear No Equal.
I'm actually just going to back up. He can keep on coming up to me. I'm going to move back up 30 feet, and that monk can come on towards me, and I will dodge.
After that, we go to the Owl.
Move up to the northeast monk and aggravate him for the wizard and come back.
Stalactite drops on top of the Owl. 5 to hit him, that's a miss. Stalactite takes 3 points of falling damage as it hits the ground.
Does that count as activating in Spirit Guardians for the purposes of Spirit Guardians damage?
No, it did not move, it just fell. But when it starts its turn, it'll take damage. And then it flies, northwest?
Yeah, northwest will work.
After the Owl is the AzureWolf.
He's no longer dodging, right?
He's no longer dodging, hit a dash to get there.
Perfect. Firebolt. That is a nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
That is 20 points of fire.
Anything else?
Let's move northeast to...
Piercer is going to start its turn off in the zone. Tell me about it.
Wisdom saving throw. DC 17. 21 radiant damage.
Good lord. Okay, he's going to die. There's another Piercer that is in the zone.
12 radiant damage.
I think he's still indistinguishable from the Stalactite, so you don't know that he's in the zone.
I just hear something say ouch and I can't find it.
Monk is going to start his turn off in the zone. He's going to fail.
That's going to be 18 radiant damage.
That'll kill him. And then the other monk is going to, I guess, move to here. The Stalactite's going to do stalactite-y things. Then we're going to go on to the Blind Oracle.
Is he in melee range with me?
Not with you.
Okay. Are they a large creature? They look large.
Medium-sized. Impressively medium.
Well, that's complicated.
They're really filling out that 5-foot square.
Right?
Making all the use of it they can.
Well, I'm elevated, so that'll help some.
You're up a little bit.
And I presume that if I move straight east and hide in that crystal patch, I don't get cover from him to hide behind.
The crystals don't grant any sort of concealment. If you're behind a crystal, then it'll grant cover. But if you're just, in it, that won't.
It's not area terrain, it's just LOS blocking terrain. Let's go ahead and move behind the fighter. We will hide behind the fighter and then shoot the monk. Hey, look, Halfling Luck kicks in again. 21 to hide.
Yep.
With advantage, 27 to hit.
27 hits.
For 27 points of damage.
After the Blind Oracle's the Chron.
Well, since I don't think stalactites speak common, I would assume I don't know they're there still, and move over toward the other astral monk. Can I swing at him from up here with my warhammer?
Absolutely.
That is a 2 on the die. I assume I miss with an 8.
Fear No Equal.
All right, we're going to open up, and we're going to action surge, no reason not to. Attack number 1, 22 to hit for 7 damage. Attack 2, 15 to hit, no good. Attack 3, That is a 28 to hit for 17 damage. Attack 4. That is a crit for 19 damage.
Beautiful. After the Fear No equals the owl.
Let's move them 35 feet south, aggravate for the wizard, and then move them 2 spaces to the east.
After the owl is the AzureWolf.
Firebolt with advantage, and that is 27.
27 hits.
6 points of fire damage, and I will step 2 spaces south, please.
After that, we're going to go to the remaining monk. Monk starts his turn in the zone. Tell me about it.
Total of 14 damage.
14 damage. He fails. He's going to take all of it, and he's going to drop. 3 more piercers hidden somewhere on here. Piercers can only drop on you once, cannot attack you when they're on the ground, so you can walk past them and on and away without ever discovering them or fighting them or anything. I don't see any point in requiring you to kill them to complete the scenario, so we're just going to move on. Report hit points.
89 out of 90.
35 out of 62.
51 out of 61.
64 out of 75.
Any pre-rest actions?
Second wind for that 1 point.
Nobody's below half, are they?
Don't think so.
Hit dice. If you have any remaining hit dice, now is the time to use them.
I gain 11 HP.
I spend 4 hit dice and gain 20 HP.
I used 2 and gained 10 HP back.
Does anyone have any post-rest actions they wish to do?
In the rest, I'm using the Arcane Recovery to get my 4th level spell slot. I'm going to use that other one for that 1 level.
The adventurers found the crystal cavern that's on their map. They're definitely heading in the right direction, and they will continue onward. There's a lake ahead of them, and then it's on to the way out, so things are looking up. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
61 hit points total. Full charges on the Wand of Magic Missiles. I have 4 first level slots, 2 second level slots, 3 third level slots, 3 fourth level slots, 1 fifth level slot. Wand of the War Mage is in my hand, along with the spellbook.
Currently sitting at 55 out of 62 hit points, holding a +1 short bow in hand.
I have 75 out of 75 hit points. 1 level 1 spell, 2 level 2 spells, 1 level 3 spell, 3 level 4 spells, and 1 level 5 spell slot. I have both of my channel divinities. I'm holding a Warhammer and a +1 shield in my hands.
90 out of 90 hit points, with Second Wind, Action Surge, and Indomitable available. I am carrying my +1 Great Axe.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. So this encounter we have Fishman Archpriests, a Fishman Boss, and 4 fishmen. Everyone here has a swim speed. Everyone here can breathe water and air. Everyone here is slippery, so they have advantage on ability checks and saving throws to escape grapples. And they also have sunlight sensitivity, but we're all underground, so that doesn't matter. Archpriests have scepters. The scepters do bludgeoning damage when they hit you and lightning damage when they hit you as well, so that's fun. The Fishman Boss is a fishman, so it has all the previous abilities. They have multi-attack with their pincher staff, which has reach. It can also grapple you. That's a lot of fun. And they can bite if they wish. And then the fishmen are fishmen, so they have all the previous abilities. They have spears and they have nets, the most useless item in the game. It always has disadvantage. God, is that thing bad. Terrain and effects, seizure warning, everything is swim terrain. This entire cavern is about waist deep, so for the halfling that's neck deep. If you do not have a swim speed, you are moving in difficult terrain. The yellow sections, if you have a swim speed, you're still moving in difficult terrain. And then the black sections, even if you have a swim speed, you cannot move there. Because it's waist deep water, if you are prone, underwater combat rules apply. Melee weapons, except daggers, javelins, short swords, spears, and tridents, or those held by swimmers being people with a swim speed, have disadvantage against a target that is prone, only if they're underwater. Ranged attacks miss at long range and have disadvantage unless they are crossbow and net or a thrown weapon like a javelin, spear, trident, or dart. Again, only against a prone target. If half their body is above the water, then you can attack them normally. Anything that is prone under the water can resist fire damage. Nothing too crazy about it, but that's what you're looking at here.
Is that land right to the east of us a little bit where we can stand?
Is that land? No. Everything here is underwater. Even the sections that are difficult terrain are also underwater.
Just looked like it was a rock.
Everything is underwater. Tactics. What do you guys think for tactics on this map?
You didn't specifically mention it, but I feel like it bears asking. I don't suppose my pike would behave like a spear in this case.
It's specifically daggers, javelins, short swords, spears, and tridents. That's not going to qualify. But only if they're prone. If they're moving around normally, then it doesn't matter.
That's fine. I have the javelins, so.
Fighter, you want my Wand of Magic Missiles on this one to get you some downrange while we're moving?
Sure.
I just figured it'll give you 120 foot range, at least.
I think that that's the right move, so I'll borrow that, at least for the initial engagement phase.
For reference, you've got 7 charges on it. Do you want Fly Rogue?
How tall is the ceiling?
20 feet up.
It'll give you 60 foot of movement.
That's probably the only way I'm going to be able to move around in here. Hiding's going to be a little tougher, I think, at that point.
There's a lot of vertical full cover.
Yeah, I'm going to take that fly. It's time.
Gotcha.
Does anybody have a recommendation for the cleric? If they can move across the entire terrain, I can't think of a way to effectively limit them.
We have a lot of spell slots. Probably time to go ahead and just use them. Save the Spirit Guardians probably for the last fight. This feels like a good time to crack open those 4th and 5th level slots if you've got something good for them.
Alright, I can see what I can do. Most of my 4th level slots are going to be healing focused.
You know you can upcast Spirit Guardians, right?
That's true. We could just roll with an upcast Spirit Guardians.
We could, but we would be rolling very slowly.
Sure, but they gotta come to us.
See what Guardian of Faith does for me.
It's not going to be helpful. It's like the thing that guards you while you sleep.
Oh, Guiding Bolt has 120 feet, so I can help out there. I do have Flame Strike, so we'll see if that comes into play in a minute. Let's see, what's the range on it? 60 feet. 10-foot radius, 40-foot cylinder. Okay, that's not as good. Doubt we're going to get them that tightly packed.
No, but we've got some big targets you can lay it on.
Here we go. I do have Freedom of Movement as a spell.
That would allow you to move around without any problems.
Is that concentration?
It is not concentration. It's duration 1 hour.
Fancy.
So I can cast that on myself and then do a Spirit Guardians, also upcast. So, yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Sounds good.
I think we're ready to throw down. Go ahead and roll initiative. Anybody have higher than a 20?
25.
Golf clap.
Right? Not even sure that's useful, but I'm going to take it.
Anybody have between a 20 and a 15?
15 on the wizard.
Anybody have between a 15 and a 10? Anyone have between a 10 and a 5? 8 for the fishman.
Fighter has 7.
I have a 6.
What do you got for me, Owl?
3.
BlindOracle, you're up.
I have a question. This is important. This is neck-high water for me. I cannot operate a bow in this, can I?
You can. You can put your hands above the water and then shoot at something whose head is above the water.
I'll take it. Ready to action. Shoot the first enemy that comes within 80 feet.
After that, we're going to go to the AzureWolf.
Let's cast Fly. If I upcast it, I can hit 2 targets. I think that's probably the move, is get the fighter and the rogue. So casting it at level 4. Get moving, boys.
Have movement.
Honestly, I think I'm good right here for now.
Then we're going to go to the fishmen. Fishmen are going to move in with their spears. So they can swim, they're going to move at full speed and drop prone. It's going to move to there and drop prone. That'll put him within 80 feet of you.
23 to hit.
23 hits.
13 points of damage.
This guy's going to weave his way through there and move to there and drop prone. He's going to move to there and drop prone. He's going to back up these guys and drop prone. Move to there and drop prone. This guy's going to move to there and drop prone. That's my fishmen. After that is the Fear No Equal.
Take me 10 feet west of the cleric and dodge.
I will move up next to the paladin
Diet Paladin.
and cast Spirit Guardians at 4th level.
No bonus actions to the owl.
Move him southeast 2 spaces of the cleric, and then fly up.
After the owl is the BlindOracle. Speaking of flying up to the ceiling.
Yeah, let's go ahead and fly up to the ceiling. So that cost me, what, 20 feet of movement?
Well, you're going to combine it with other movement, I imagine.
Yeah, just trying to figure out if there's a thing to hide behind on the ceiling or not.
You can get terrain obscurement, so, move around behind there.
I'd like to fly to the northeast behind that wall.
More distance than he's ever moved in his life.
Right. Hide action. So the stealth rolls a 27, and then take the shot at the fishman to the southeast of me right there.
He is under the cover of water, so you will have disadvantage on this shot.
Sure, okay. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The 2 hit rolls a 19.
19 connects.
13 points of damage. And if I have enough movement, move back right there.
More movement than you've ever seen in your life.
Ever in my entire life. I'm dangerous now.
AzureWolf.
So let's move east 2, and you said they're underwater, right?
Yep, they're all prone.
Can I hit them with a shatter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a thing that isn't affected. Who are we going for?
We're going 60 east.
That'll hit just this guy. You can hit these 2 guys. You want them?
Yeah, I'll take them. Cast it at level 3. It's a con DC 17. 14.
Northwestern of the 2 is going to fail and you take 14. He drops. The southeastern of the 2, he's going to fail also, and so he's going to take the 14. After that, it's my turn. Everybody's prone, so they're going to have to spend half their movement to stand up. We're going to dash towards the limit. No reason to get in if we don't have to. That guy's going to dash to there and drop prone. That guy's going to dash to there and drop prone. That guy's going to dash to there and drop prone. This guy's going to dash to there and drop prone. This guy's going to dash to here and drop prone. This guy's going to dash to here and drop prone. That's the fishman. After the fishman is the Fear No Equal.
I'm going to go north and try and take out that guy north of me. I'm going to switch to my javelin, and we are going to make my attacks against him.
Advantage because he's prone.
And I'm using a javelin, so no disadvantage for underwater. 16 to hit
16 will connect.
for 9 damage.
Punches into his squishy, rubbery, fishy flesh, and that guy's dead.
Oh, lovely. I've got a bunch of squares of movement left. I will swing straight south and go for the southernmost fishman. That's a 20 to hit for another 9 damage. That'll do for me.
Chron.
So I can either move south and help take out those two fishmen.
I'll take care of them.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and cast Freedom of Movement of myself, 4th level spell slot, and move due east at my maximum movement. And then I will wait there.
After that is the owl.
Let's aggravate that one to the south for the fighter.
Still staying on the ceiling, no worries there. After the owl is the Blind Oracle. Speaking of staying on the ceiling.
Skittering across it like a spider.
Let's take that hide action now. That's a 33 to hide. Move around the corner, and let's go ahead and shoot the shaman. I assume the caster is prone.
Yes, they are prone, that's right.
Alright, so this will cancel out. 16 to hit.
Hit an Archpriest.
Excellent. 13 damage. Scoot back.
After the Blind Oracle is the AzureWolf.
Directly east, I think that's where I'm going to drop that shatter. Sculpting around the cleric. It's a DC 17 con. Oh, that's much better on the damage. That is 26.
26 or 13. Archpriest is going to get a nat 20 and take 13. The boss is going to not get a 17, so he's going to take the full 26. You got any movement?
No, I think I'm good.
After the AzureWolf is the Fishman. Fishman's going to start his turn off in the zone. Give me some.
DC 17 Wisdom saving throw.
Fails.
He takes 8 damage.
And drops. He's just going to stab. Gets a nat 1. He's going to pivot because he can. He will not drop prone. Oh, he starts to turn off in the zone. Give me some.
That's a total of 18.
18. He's going to fail. That hurt. And this is difficult terrain for them. Oh, that's rough.
So standing up costs him half, and it's difficult terrain.
If he dashes, they'll give him 45, half of which is 20. Doesn't even get out of the zone. Stand up for half over here. Fighter's going to get close to me. It doesn't matter. Boss is going to start his turn off in the zone. Fails.
16.
Boss is going to go use his pincer staff to try to grab the cleric. 6 to hit your cleric. Move for 1. After that, we're going to go to Fear No Equal.
We're going to go after the priest to the north of me.
You got advantage on the northwest one.
Is the priest standing, or is he prone?
They're both standing.
Honestly, I think I'd still rather hit the priest. I'm going to switch back to my great axe. Attack number 1. That is an 18.
18 will hit.
For 17 damage. And attack number 2. That is a 15.
Yeah, 15 hits him.
For 18 damage. I want to get those attacks of opportunity if they move away, so.
Chron.
Please move me back 2 squares. Do I eat an attack of opportunity?
Oh, yeah. 22.
22 will hit.
Take 3 points of piercing damage from the bite. And then give me a concentration save for the spell you're concentrating on.
For 3 damage?
Yep, it's half damage or 10, whichever is greater.
Oh, It's a Constitution save. That puts me at 10 then. My Constitution save is +3. Then I'm going to shoot a Sacred Flame at the Northern Archpriest. The DC 17 Dex save.
He's going to fail.
Total of 7 radiant damage.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Let's aggravate the priest to the north of the cleric there for the wizard.
After that, we go to the Blind Oracle.
Saracen, to make sure I understand who's standing up,
Everyone.
let's go ahead and take the hide action, and then we're going to pop out and shoot the northmost priest. So here's your stealth check. Nailing that, 30. And then the attack with advantage, 27 to hit
27 hits.
for 25 points of damage. 1 east. Try to put as much pillar between myself and them as possible. That's my turn.
Absolutely. AzureWolf.
Is it worth a fireball?
I don't think so.
They're all out of water. That's kind of what I'm sitting here going, is it worth it? They've all taken some heavy damage. I think it's best to just knock the 2 down below. Actually, I've got advantage on that priest to the north. Let's hit him with a bolt. 25.
Hits.
9.
Anything else?
Well, let's move back to the west.
After that, we go to the Fishman. Let's try to break that concentration. So this guy's going to start his turn off in the zone.
DC 17. Wisdom save.
Pass.
Good total of 24.
Take 12 instead. Then he's going to walk forward and try to grab that cleric with his staff. He gets a 13 to hit you.
That misses.
He's going to bite you for 16.
That also misses.
Okay, this guy's going to start his turn off in the zone. He's going to fail.
A total of 15 damage.
That is lethal. So he's going to try to stab the fighter. You can do it, little buddy. No, you can't. 18 to hit you.
Nope.
Yeah, that'll miss with the spear. He does not have multi-attack, so that's it for him. He's going to pivot around behind you. His boss is going to start his turn off in the zone. He's going to fail.
It's a total of 16 damage.
And then he's going to proc.
That is a 20 to hit for 7 damage.
And then he's going to walk over to the wizard. First attack is a 19 to hit you, wizard. Shield. Second attack is a 10 to hit you. That is all my guys. After that, we're going to go to the Fear No Equal.
Since I'm down here, I'm going to attack this guy with my great axe. That is a 17 to hit.
Hits.
For 11 damage.
11 damage is lethal.
And I'm going to fly up to the priest and attack him with my second attack for 21.
Hits.
For 7 damage. That'll do.
Chron.
Go ahead and hit the boss with my warhammer. It's a total of 18.
18 hits.
That's going to be 7 total bludgeoning damage and 8 radiant damage.
15 total, so he's going to drop.
And then I'll walk over to the Archpriest.
After the Chron is the Owl.
Aggravate him for me.
Fly away. After the Owl is the BlindOracle.
Sure, let's go ahead and take the hide bonus action. I think I have to go kind of the long way around to do this. So move around the far side, like so. Hide there, pop out, shoot the priest. 24 to hide from the priest.
Roger that.
26 to hit
26 connects.
for 38 points of damage.
38 is lethal, and the fishmen drop. Report hit points.
90 out of 90.
55 out of 62.
61 out of 61.
72 out of 75.
Anybody want to do any actions at the end of the encounter?
I'd like some end of encounter information. Is my spiritual guardian still going to be up in the next encounter?
Yes, it is. It drops on a short rest.
Same with the fly.
How long does fly last?
10 minutes.
Yeah, fly will last.
And the freedom of movement on me.
Freedom of movement lasts for an hour. That'll last. You guys are going into the next encounter ready to rock and roll.
Zoom in.
It's exciting.
Did they do any damage to us?
I took 3 damage. I got bit.
Wow.
I'm going to turn into a Kuatoa.
God, please don't.
Arguing about whether or not this is a shortcut or just a terrible idea, the party wades through the river and makes their way to the other side. The path is starting to slope back upwards, so it looks like they're going to make their way out of the Underdark and back to the world above. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
55 out of 62 hit points, holding a +1 short bow. That's it.
61 out of 61 hit points. 3 first level slots remaining. 2 second level slots remaining. 1 third level slot remaining. 2 fourth level slots remaining. 1 fifth level slot remaining. I am concentrating on fly for the fighter and the rogue.
90 out of 90 hit points. I have Second Wind, Action Surge, and Indomitable available. I am carrying my +1 Great Axe.
72 out of 75 hit points remaining. 1 first level spell, 2 second level spells, 1 third level spell, 1 fourth level spell, 1 fifth level spell. At both of my channel divinities, I'm carrying a Warhammer and a +1 shield. I currently have Spiritual Guardians and Freedom of Movement active.
Monsters' abilities, items, and numbers. The monsters are a Hobgoblin Warlord who's leading a band of Hobgoblins. The Hobgoblin Warlord has martial advantage, so he'll get an additional 4d6 damage to a creature if that creature is within 5 feet of an ally of the Hobgoblin, and the ally isn't incapacitated. It has a longsword, it has a shield, and it has javelins. They also have a leadership ability where they can give a d4 whenever a non-hostile creature within 30 feet of it makes an attack or saving throw. That lasts for a minute, so it's basically a bless, and it doesn't have a concentration though. There's also a Hobgoblin Captain. He has martial advantage, but it's only 3d6. He has a great sword, he has a javelin, and he has a leadership ability as well. Then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hobgoblins. Hobgoblins have long swords and long bows. They also have martial advantage, but it's only a 2d6. And then in reserve, there is a bugbear chief. They have a morning star and they have a javelin, and they have some advantages against saves that I don't think they're going to be making against charm, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, stunned, or being put to sleep. So that's what he's got. He's accompanied by 3 bugbears. The bugbears have javelins and morning stars as well. Bugbears are brutes, so they get a little extra damage than would otherwise be expected by their regular damage numbers. That's what you guys are facing. Terrain and effects. This is a cavern. There is a floor 60 feet down below, so that's going to be 66 points of falling damage. It is trivially easy to climb out of, but it is going to take you some time to do so. That's what is down there. There are a couple of balance beams highlighted in orange. Those are a DC 15 acrobatics check to move across the balance beams. The rest of it looks precarious, but is not actually difficult or dangerous terrain to move around on. That's what terrain looks like. What do you guys think for tactics here?
Are those walls in the section on the left side of the screen?
Yeah, so there's a door right next to you. There's a couple of walls. Then there's a opening here, so you can definitely shoot out of that if you wanted to. You've got a door here, a door there, leads out to this section down here. So they're permeable. You can get through them, but there are also sections of it that block line of sight.
So my recommendation would be to head straight south through that door and then allow them to either cluster up or otherwise get entangled, possibly hitting them with some big AoE spells on our way out.
This is for me and you because the other two can fly over this cavern.
Oh yeah, that is true. I suppose that would be for me and the wizard, but that would probably delay things for too long if the other two were to fly in. What do you guys think?
If there's a turn that goes by without a fireball going out, we're wasting it.
Uh-huh.
You have so many, and there's so many enemies that, just lay them down.
Uh-huh.
I might just head across the north then, because then I can get the bugbears and spiritual guardians without risking falling into a pit and never making it out in time to be useful.
If we want to suspend the fly, it could be useful to have maybe banishment on that head hobgoblin. That takes that leadership ability out of play and that big nasty sneak attack.
I also have banishment.
Oh, there you go, yeah. We could drop Spirit Guardians and roll banishment on the hobgoblin leader.
Yeah, I can use that. That's my level 4.
Yeah, I mean, if I get it in range of a bunch of like a cone of cold or animate object, which will slog us down, but
If we get enough in the area, Cone of Cold is just good AoE.
I have a question regarding terrain and movement. So I know that the castle structure on the left-hand side is permeable and I could shoot out of parts of it. My question is the only way into the crenellation section through that door, or could I fly around to get to the front area with crenellation that I can shoot out of?
Here, these you can move through. These you could not. These you could move through. It's just these arrow slits that nobody's going to be able to... I mean, if you were a gaseous form or something, you can move through that. But otherwise, no medium-sized or small-sized creatures can be able to move through those. Any medium-sized creature can squeeze through those spaces. Same thing with those spaces.
Okay.
Anything else?
nah.
Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Ooh,
Anybody have higher than a 20?
22 for the wizard.
I got a 21 on the hobs.
And a 20 for the owl.
Who has between a 20 and a 15? Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
14.
12 for the fighter.
11 for the cleric.
That's going to start us off with AzureWolf.
So I've got some options to fire at. Let's do the ones that are directly in front of us.
Drop a fireball in that group.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
DC 17 dex, and your damage, I'm upcasting it to 4th. That is 32.
Western Hobgoblin is going to pass, but he's still going to die because that's more damage. The Northern Hobgoblin is going to fail. He'll take the 32 and drop. The Hobgoblin Captain is going to pass. He's going to take 16. What else?
I'm good.
After that, we're going to go to the Hobs. Hobgoblin Captain, he's going to run back to there. He's going to issue a command. This guy's going to jump out here. He's going to take a shot at the cleric with his longbow. 25 to hit you, cleric.
That'll hit.
Take 8 points of piercing damage and give me a concentration save.
Concentration 17.
Pass. Then he's going to move back to there. The next one is going to take a shot. He's got a 19, which I think is a miss.
That does miss.
That guy's going to move to there. He's going to take a shot. He's going to get 20 on the nose.
Okay.
Take 9 and a concentration save.
It's a natural 2 on the concentration save.
All right, you're going to lose your radius. This guy's going to do the same thing. He's going to issue a command. This guy's going to move to here. He's going to ready an action to shoot whoever has no cover coming out of that hole. He's going to move to there. He's going to ready an action to shoot anybody who's coming out of that hole and doesn't have any cover. And then the bugbears. The bugbears are going to start charging. This guy's going to move to there. This guy's going to move to there. This guy's going to move to there. This guy's going to dash to there. That's all of my hobgoblin. After the goblinoids is the owl.
Those guys are concentrating. I don't really want to pull them out there. They're just going to call dodge for the moment.
Call dodge where he's at. Sounds good. After the owl is the blind oracle.
Okay, so we're going to move south through the corridor to the first row of archery slits. I'm flying, so we're going to move all the way up. Hide action. We got a 21 for the stealth check.
Absolutely.
24 to hit.
24 hits, punches through the half plate.
32 points of damage.
That'll kill him. You good there? You move back?
Move back. Yeah, just away from the wall.
No reason to take return fire. After the blind oracles, the fear no equal.
Well, I was going to go down and deal with that guy, but I think instead I'm going to dodge, and then I'm going to navigate towards those bugbears to draw those 2 arrows out.
14 on the first one.
19 AC.
And 23 on the second one.
That'll hit.
9 points of piercing.
Oh no. And then I'll continue towards those bugbears to try and cut them off.
That's 11 to there.
That'll do.
After that, we're going to go to Chron.
I will follow the paladin as close as I can.
If only I was a paladin.
Diet Paladin.
It's a dash to there.
I'll have to leave it at that.
After that, we're going to go to the AzureWolf.
It's 3 in one and 3 on the other. So let's do the southeast. Step up, fireball. Dex DC 17. 38 points of damage because it was upcast.
38 or 19. The guy in the doorway is going to fail. He's going to take the full 38. He dies. Northern guy, he's going to fail. He's going to take the full 38. He's going to die. The southern guy is going to pass. He's going to take 19. He's going to die.
Clean up crew. And let's tuck back in this hallway.
After that, we're going to go to the hobgoblins. This guy's going to rotate there. And he's going to take a shot with a javelin at the fighter.
Dodge.
Thank you for that reminder. He's going to take the 10 and add a 9 to it for a 19.
That will hit.
And he's going to do d6 javelin damage and 4d6 martial advantage damage. take 17 points of piercing from the javelin, and he can make 2 ranged attacks with his javelin. Second attack, he's going to get a 13, which is going to miss. He's going to move to there to free up space. The next one, he's going to take a shot. These have disadvantage. Drops the nat 20 in favor of a 18.
Nope.
That's unfortunate. He's going to move back around the pillar, and then the second guy is going to take a shot. He's going to get a 10, and then he's going to move south as well. The bugbears. First bugbear is going to try to hit you. You're dodging, so he's going to do this with disadvantage. That'll be a 15.
Whoops.
He's going to move away. That'll proc.
Yes, it will. 17 to hit
17 connects with the bugbear.
for 14 damage.
Next one is going to move in. He's going to swing his Morningstar. 13 on the first attack.
Whoop.
Drop a nat 20 in favor, and 18 on the second attack.
Nope.
Well, that is quite unfortunate. He's going to move back. He's going to move to there, and he's going to throw a javelin at you. He's going to drop a nat 20 in favor of a nat 1. This guy's going to go to there and throw a javelin. He's going to get a 12 to hit you. That's all my bears. After that is the owl.
What do we get square-wise? I think I can get right behind the cleric, right? There we go. Just there and dodge.
BlindOracle.
I would like to congratulate you on putting at least one person behind a rock that I can't really get around. Line of sight question. From the northmost arrow slit in the room I am in, can I draw line of sight to the first bugbear?
Yeah.
Alright, stealth to get to there.
He's like walking on his tiptoes, but his toes are off the ground and just like creeping along going, I'm so sneaky.
Right, so there's a 31 for that. Roll with advantage into shooting him for 25 to hit.
25 will hit.
For 28 points of damage.
28 is lethal. Got him in 1.
Excellent. And we'll just back up again. No reason to get shot.
After the BlindOracle is the Fear No Equal.
Advance 2 squares and attack. Oof. 14 to hit.
Negative bounces off the chain shirt.
And again, 27 to hit for 10 damage. Action surge. Dodge.
Action surge dodge. Let's see how that works out. After the action surge dodge is the Chron.
I feel like a flame strike on the main dude might be very funny right now.
Oh my. How did you guess? Flame strike on the guy standing in front of you, or flame strike on those gentlemen over there?
The gentleman over there, I can deal with the ones in front of me.
DC 17 dexterity saving throw. Centered on the pillar with the 3 hobgoblin. 12 fire damage and 19 radiant damage.
31 or 15, I believe. Warlord is going to pass, so he's going to take the 15. The westernmost hobgoblin is going to take 31 damage and drop. The other one is going to take half damage and drop. You good, Chron? You going to move?
I'll take 2 steps forward.
After the Chron is the AzureWolf.
Trying to be the diet wizard over there?
I wish I had a soda to crack open on Mike.
Silly as it sounds. Fireball?
Fireball the remaining 2 guys. Okay. You can get the chief and the warlord and the friend, but you can't get the other bugbear.
You're about to traumatize this bugbear.
And sculpting if I need to around the fighter, and just because I'm trying to use up spell slots, 5th level?
Insert Vine Boon sound.
DC 17 dex, and 34.
34, just under average. Everybody fails. The bugbear's going to take full damage and drop. The chief is going to take 34, and then the lord is going to take 34. That's the AzureWolf. You good there? Move around.
Yeah, I'm good.
After that, we're going to go to the hobgoblins. Chief's going to try to hit the fighter. That's really our best option. We don't need to invite more damage. Nat 1, and that'll do. 19 to hit your fighter.
That'll do.
Take 15 points of piercing damage. His backup is going to move to there. He's going to take a shot at the fighter. His javelin goes past you. The warlord is going to take his 2 shots at the fighter because we have more damage potential. He's going to get a 11 to hit you, and he's going to get a 20 to hit you with the other one.
That one will do.
Take 23 points of piercing damage, and he's going to move to there. You don't want to stand on the rickety bridge. After the hobgoblins is the owl.
Aggravate the one east of the fighter for the fighter, and just move back.
And then after the owl is the BlindOracle.
Hide, move to the archery port, shoot the southernmost target. 31 for stealth, 18 to hit.
Hobgoblin Warlord has plate armor. His total AC is 20. That's a miss.
Okay, cool. And move back.
After the BlindOracle, we go to the Fear No Equal.
I'll go ahead and take advantage of this advantage to wallop this guy in front of me. Wow, or not. 16 to hit.
16's going to bounce off the chain shirt.
And we're going to attack again. Hey, that's a crit though.
Okay.
19 total damage. And then I'm going to use my second wind for 15 HP.
After that is the Chron.
As funny as Animate Dead would be right now, I think I'm just going to upcast Guiding Bolt to 4th level and shoot it at the Warlord. No, that's not going to hit. That's a total of 17.
17's a miss, indeed. After that, we're going to go to AzureWolf.
That lord down there. He's taking some damage.
Yeah, he's got cover, but you ignore it.
If you've got AoE, it might be better off on the upper ones. The rogue has the shot on the southern guy.
Yeah, but he missed once because of the armor. Magic missile.
Tell me about it.
I am upcasting it 3rd. And your D4 is 4 plus the 1.
4 plus 1 is 5. 5 missiles, 25 damage. You good?
I'm good.
Then we're going to go to the Hobgoblins. Hobgoblins can jump 16 feet with a run-up. He's going to dash to there. The Chief's going to take a swing at the fighter, who's no longer dodging, I believe.
I am not.
First one is going to be a 16 to hit you. Second one's going to be a 20 to hit you.
That one will hit.
Go ahead and take 13 points of piercing damage. His friend's going to advance to there and throw a javelin. We're going to get a 21 to hit you, 8 piercing damage with the javelin. Those are my 3 guys. After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Same thing, aggravate the same one for the fighter and move back.
After that, we go to the BlindOracle.
Hide and try and shoot the chieftain there. 31 for stealth.
Yep.
22 to hit this time.
22 connects.
Ugh. 23 points of damage.
23 is exactly his hit point total. He drops.
Move me back just in case someone wants to randomly throw something at me.
Fredo equal.
Attacking with advantage. That's a crit.
Okay.
23 damage. I finally get some damage.
Yeah, he gets 2 hit points left and he drops. What do you got now?
Fly across.
Yeah, I guess I'll fly over there and punch the last guy with my axe. You're not going to believe me.
I believe you.
Crit. That's my second 20. Most of these crits are 19s, actually. 25 damage.
The part I don't believe is why you didn't push him in the hole.
I'm not even sure if I would have gotten that much damage out of it.
6d6, you would have gotten quite a bit. So that's the end of the Underdark excursion. The players will collect 5,600 gold pieces, which is a total of 1,400 gold pieces each. They recover 4 magic items, which are the Circlet of Blasting, Gloves of Thievery, a Spell Scroll of Arcane Hand, and a Spell Scroll of Flame Strike. Those will be divided up under the assumed division, unless there's any other ideas that are suggested. The next dungeon is Slods in Limbo. So the adventurers will travel to the plane of Limbo and fight against the denizens that live there.
Good God, you're making people fight Slod?
Having finally made it through the ruined lairs that the goblinoids use to set up an ambush, the adventurers make it back out onto the surface and off to their overworld destination. By tradition, what was the easiest encounter here? I realized that these were all pretty easy encounters, but what did you guys think was the easiest?
I would argue the Kuatoa. Sorry, the Fishman. I would argue the Fishman.
I'm not going to censor you guys. I think it's funny.
To censor us.
The legally distinct dungeon. Pretty much everything, including Underdark, I think they're going to claim a trademark on. So I think pretty much everything here, except maybe the hobgoblins, I think those are the only non-legally distinct entities.
Fire giants, they probably don't care.
I don't think the fire giants they could claim either. Fire giants are part of Norse mythology. Hobgoblins are part of English mythology. They can't claim those.
Underdark either. Tolkien first used the term when talking about the schism in elves in the Silmarillion.
So you're saying is the Tolkien estate's going to sue him?
Excellent. Okay, so what was so easy about the fishmen? What made that encounter the easiest?
Because of the spells I still had available, the spiritual guardians, and the fact that they essentially moved right toward us in a nice little tight radius that allowed me to really take advantage of that spell. It dropped or contributed to dropping at least half of all of the fishermen.
My goal there was to move in around you guys, right? To spread out so that you had to move in some direction around you and then use your lack of mobility. Well, the maps imposed lack of mobility to get around you guys because there's not enough terrain here for you to block off any sections and bunker down. I guess you could try to bunker down in this little cave over here, but realistically, it's not possible to bunker down. And then with that, I can just get around and flank you because you can't move very fast. And then immediately, 3 of you were like, okay, cool. I moved 60, I moved 60, I moved 50. Like, all right, well, so much for that plan. That was fun, but it's just not going to happen.
Every plan is intact right up until you contact the enemy.
I would contend, even though this was relatively simple, it was because of a massive investment of resources. I think Encounter 3 was also super simple and required less resources. The most powerful advantage, as usual, is go first. And a fireball into the only room full of meaningful enemies just destroyed most of that encounter.
It's interesting because I come at it from a different direction. That one was more potentially difficult. It was definitely one of the easier encounters, but because we knew beforehand what the possibilities were in both scenarios, I'd say that there was less possibility of difficulty with the fishmen, but that's hypotheticals.
Just from an execution standpoint, we had a plan with this one. We followed it. It worked. They died.
AzureWolf, how terrified were you of brain suckers?
Not too bad because of my headband, but yeah, I do not like them normally.
The brain suckers are a very intimidating enemy in most encounters.
Yeah, they are. Because of the headband, the brain dogs weren't as scary, even though they can be. That brain sucker, if it would have lived a little bit longer, could have potentially been bad with some charms or stuff.
Yeah, we did have really good rolls here. We rolled through the stun on 2 people, the instant kill on the Deep Gnome. A lot of it just meant that we didn't really have to worry about, a lot of the things we should have been worrying about in this fight. If that gnome had gotten to close with the wizard, that could have been a little more hairy, but it just wasn't.
Any other thoughts about what made an easy encounter here?
Choke points. The fact that we had choke points made them significantly easier encounters.
Yeah.
I didn't find that the choke points came into play as much as it was expected. That's probably by design. Rather than choke points, it was the circumnavigation of the tight tunnels that came to our advantage. They only had one real option at coming at us here as far as the brain suckers are concerned. There was a long way they would have had to go around to get at the rest of the party, and so it kind of funneled them.
Felt that astral fight could have went a lot worse with the darkness and everything. If we didn't break that darkness like we did, that could have got nasty fast.
I would put this one up for hardest fight.
Yeah, me too.
Really? Okay. The Astral Knights don't have the ability to fight in darkness. They're just throwing normally at you, and the Dark Mantles aren't actually that dangerous. Yes, they shut down casters using verbal components. Yes, they give you disadvantage to attack. But with their low AC, their low hit points, and their low attack values, you guys are scaled out of their threat range effectively. They're just kind of a nuisance. The goal for me was to pin a couple of you down and then move the Astral Warriors into position to fight the remainder, rather than actually doing any damage with the Dark Mantles.
An example of a much more difficult combat would be throw a couple Dark Mantles in the room with the Fire Giant, and as we try to come around the corner and rush the Fire Giant, the Dark Mantles drop on us.
Yeah.
That's a non-starter, however. This was the single monster encounter. You guys are level 9. It's a level 9 encounter, so there's no room in the experience budget for anything else to show up. But I do understand what you're saying. Here, I think the Astral Knight is a CR 8. So this is the encounter that has the budget to add something else in it, which is exactly what I did. I might be a little bit off on those numbers.
I disagree with this being the hardest encounter, especially when we found out the cleric could hold his breath for 40 rounds.
I was looking at the rules. They're very silly when it comes to Dark Mantles. It's more of a don't wander off on your own sort of thing, like if they're not really a threat to a person in that regard.
4 minutes is impressive, though.
It is. I was going to say, if someone got Dark Mantled, it was as simple as the rogue walks up and boops the Dark Mantle off, because I don't think they could survive average damage from a sneak attack.
It's like, oh, you're adjacent to my friend. It's like, well, I wouldn't say adjacent. I said it would more like, slurping his head off. You're like, no, you're adjacent. Stab. Sneak attack.
Done. I'm actually going to posit the giant for hardest encounter just on sheer amount of damage taken.
You definitely had the roughest experience with the Fire Giant.
Because I was really afraid of getting pinned in. I was really afraid that we were going to get pinned in and then it was going to get bad. And I was like, well, I can dash across and then maybe we fishhook the giant, maybe we don't.
So full disclosure, this was actually my first 5th edition game in years. If I had cast Spiritual Guardians on the way in rather than what I did, I feel like this fight would have been a lot more trivial.
Welcome to the deep end. It's a 9th level encounter. You're playing the most complicated class with the most spells available to it.
Dwarf Cleric is my go-to class. I've built several over the years, and I've played 5th Ed for years. It's just a matter of warming back up, getting back into the swing of things, remembering what all my spells do rather than learning it.
Any other thoughts about hard or easy encounters?
On this one, I could have avoided some of that damage, so the rock wouldn't have been as bad at the beginning there, because I just spaced out and was like, oh, firebolt, and didn't even think about it until it was at the point where I was like, oh, now I'm stuck in no man's land, I'm in rock range.
Firebolt's obviously not going to do anything, and I think you were at the perfect range for Ray of Frost. Kind of didn't understand why you weren't throwing that earlier, but...
Just a brain fart.
As far as overall damage, I took 95 out of my total 90 hit points in the last fight.
Huh.
I came out of that with 10 HP, and I used Second Wind in the middle of it for 15.
You got rocked in this one.
There was a lot of damage, and I don't know if this was difficult just because we had so many resources to throw at it, and by resources I mean fireballs. There was a lot of potential damage going down there, and I think we handled it as well as we could.
I think this one was the one where I did have to think the most, because on those last few rounds I was debating, it's like, do I throw more damage out there or do I actually take a break and heal the fighter? I think the fact that they were concentrated on platforms made it very easy to mop up a lot of them all at once, and if we didn't have that ability, this would have been a lot hairier.
For once, we were not the ones stuck in restricted terrain while the enemies could move around. We were the ones who could move around while the enemies were restricted.
I feel like you had fairly equal amounts of mobility.
We had equal amounts of mobility, but because we had the ability to go across the north there and circumnavigate the pillars as well as the rogue going down on the other side, we effectively flanked them at range and were able to use AoE spells and the rogues.
Yeah, this felt like one of the most significant examples of it that I could think of, where the rogue could just hammer them from one side, completely untouched.
I wouldn't say that atypical of the rogue's tactics at all, right? The rogue is always moving into a position where he can't receive return fire, which is just smart, right? Like, you don't want to receive return fire if you don't have to.
Oh yeah, but I think he's seldom been so secure in his little bastion as today's.
Felt great today.
You got the experience moving more than you ever had and being safe.
Incredible.
Did he have to jump to shoot through the arrow slit?
I mean, he can fly, so...
Yeah, that's right. He was just floating up there.
Every time he fires, he slides backwards in the air.
He ping-pongs off of opposite walls.
I was going to say, just as a theme, I really appreciated the theme of this set of encounters, because this felt like something that would actually occur to a normal D&D party. And the breadth and depth of the different set pieces absolutely showcases how much you can do with an Underdark campaign, and I really liked that.
I didn't go for a lot of depth. The most depth that you have is one side of the Azure Warrior divide and then the other side of the Azure Warrior divide, right? Like, that's kind of the limit of the depth that I think you're going to see here. This was kind of like the last chance to get in humanoids. There's some high-level humanoids. There's like archmages, and wizards are going to be fairly regular after a while, but this is really the last gasp of the hobgoblin. They're not going to show up at higher levels in this. They're just not going to be effective. Not that they were particularly effective in this one.
Yeah, if I had been less conservative on my spell use, I think that last encounter had the most potential for a TPK.
From a potential perspective, I think the Intellect Devourers own that one. But, other than that...
How much HP does an individual Intellect Devourer have?
It's not that. If it would have took all your int, it basically sucks your brain. You become their slave.
Not exact. There's actually a lot of things that have to line up, but if they all line up, that's it.
Yeah, I thought it had to reduce you to 0.
So they have a multi-attack, so they can attack with their claws, and then they can use Devour Intellect as the same action. But that's the only thing they can do as the same action. So a melee attack for damage, and then they Devour Intellect. A creature it can see within 10 feet that has a brain makes a DC 12 intelligence save. Not a high save by any means. Right off the bat, easy to save against for your level if you're trying. And then it'll do 11 psychic damage. Again, just damage off the top. However, on a failure, you take 3d6 intelligence score reduction. If you're reduced to 0, then you become stunned until you regain that intelligence, which has to be essentially a greater restoration. They have another thing that they can do separately as a different action, which is it can do an intelligence contest with an incapacitated humanoid, which is essentially you both roll a d20 and add your intelligence modifiers. If it gets higher than you do, you die. So this is save or die as an intelligence save, but it has to be an incapacitated target. So if it on its own incapacitates you with its Devour Intellect, you fail the fairly low DC save, it rolls really high, and or you have a low intelligence score to start with, then it gets another turn and it can try to steal the body. Essentially, it's 3 death saving throws that you have to fail, and then you're just dead, and it takes over your body and it can control you, and it's going to fight as you. The end run around this is the Brain Sucker can incapacitate people with an AoE. So it can incapacitate multiple of you. Potentially, if it catches all of you, it could incapacitate the entire party, and then the brain dogs descend on you, and then they just eat everybody's brains. So this could be a one-turn TPK. The wizard has the most potential, is fairly well immune to it. This is why I think this is the most dangerous. It's the combination of the two of them. The incapacitating from the brain sucker, and then the brain dogs running in and lapping up all of the scraps.
The brain sucker alone is the threat here. The brain dogs are mostly ancillary.
I don't think that brain suckers earned the reputation that they have in 3rd edition, and it's especially in 5th edition that people overhype them, that they're like, oh, they're more terrifying than anything. It's in groups, they're very, very bad, right? Because you're going to hit with multiple AoEs, which is never good. But a single brain sucker is not actually that terrible.
I think relative to the party we were facing, he was the particular threat. Nothing else was particularly threatening unless that guy managed to land a multi-target stun.
There were a lot of different status effects that had the potential to be thrown at us, but none of them landed. That's probably contributing to my shoulder shrug at this encounter. This one probably had more potential for a threat. Now that I'm thinking it back, it's just so much of it just didn't go off, which happens, you know.
This could potentially shut down one character for the rest of the encounter, which would suck.
So the first one, the tactics I have written down are tank and spank. That's it. That you guys were like, yeah, we'll tank it and spank it. How did that go?
Less well than I expected, but that was due to this being, again, my first encounter in years.
I think positioning on this one kind of allowed for it to circumvent you guys.
I think this went about as well as we expected it to.
Yeah.
I expected us to take some shots. As we tried to close with it, it was going to try and flank us and get to the squishies, and we just want to try and burn it down before it does that. That was pretty much it. It's just that it hits really hard when it does hit.
That's a single target monster. They don't go and do that. I think we have the answers to these already, but you should have done Sacred Flame. It has a -1 to its dex. I think it actually has a +3 dex save in the sum, but its dex is fairly low, its armor is fairly high. Sacred Flame was going to be the way the cleric should have been throwing damage at this.
Yeah, I would have said like Guiding Bolt, just done about the same amount of damage in a single turn, leveraging somebody else's attack, and that would have been it. And your first time running with this group with the tactics that we're particularly familiar with and the encounters Saracen puts together.
I think I made a mistake here. I just want to own that I made a mistake. I should have just kept shooting in that encounter. Like, yeah, I probably would have gotten punched eventually by the giant, but I should have just been shooting because I probably might have shaved a turn off total rather than trying to make a break for it.
In this encounter, you have potential to move 15 squares. So I think if he gets close enough, you can actually outrun him, but essentially just going to kite him around. In this encounter, tactics at the beginning were Spirit Guardians, Fireball, Double Choke Point, and then maybe Bless. Did the Double Choke Point work out, do you guys think, or no?
I thought so.
Could have gone better. I was not expecting the jump. That was a good trick by you. That was a really, really good trick. I was not expecting that. I figured I could just hide behind the cleric.
I expected the jump.
This literally came to me last week. I forget what it was. I think I was editing video and somebody had asked a question about how high can I jump, and I looked at the rules. 6 feet. I can jump 6 feet over somebody with a running jump. Characters are 6 feet tall. Now that you know of it, do you think it's a legitimate tactic or this is against the spirit of the game?
There's a couple things there. I kind of wanted to question, you were leaping on the diagonal.
Yes.
To get that to go. I think that's fine. I think there are far worse things a DM can do to their players. I know I have done it to mine, but I'm a bigger fan of casters and mind control than you are. It's always funny when the fighter crits the warlock for you. No, it was fair. It was fine. I didn't expect it, and I think if I had, I would have done something silly, like figured out where I would have forced you to jump somewhere and been like hunting trap.
Land him with the hunting trap and no walk away. That'd be pretty funny.
Bugs Bunny it.
On the general subject of double choke point, I think that it still worked here, even with the jump, because we had 2 opponents, we had 2 channels for them to move through. Even if one of us gets jumped over, the cleric just backs up and stays between the squishies and the squire. The knight is still stuck on the other channel. If they had both gone in one direction, then we just put both people in that direction. I think it did actually work here. We could each take one opponent and stop him to a certain extent, and let the jump determines that the DPS are going to focus on the guy who's broken through. But we still have the other guy choke pointed, and he's not getting through on our squishies, which is the real risk. If more than one person can get on them and start clinching them and they can't run away. So I think it did work.
Moving on to this one, Fireball, positioning for the Fireball, stay together, then conditional plans based on initiative, and of course, Spirit Guardians. I thought it was key that you guys had conditional plans that if we're going to go first, we should do this, and if we're going to go second, we should do that. Facing an AoE like Brain Blast, is it better to stick together in the Spirit Guardians? I suppose this is a certain amount of Spirit Guardian vulnerable enemies here. Is it better to stick together facing an AoE, or should you have split up?
As a general rule, it's better to split up as an AoE. If we had been able to turn that into a choke point, I'd say we could maintain sticking together. Like if I had been able to be a body block.
Conventional wisdom says even in a choke point, AoE is going to fix that, right? Like if you guys put 2 people here, he's going to get 4 of you.
There isn't enough maneuvering room where we could still effectively take it down that I think splitting up made sense in this case. Say, for example, we had blocked that choke point, 2 at the front had gotten stunned. What would the Illithid have done at that point? He would have just continued using it from the angle that's available to the rogue and the wizard. If they're out of that AoE, they wouldn't have been able to help, right?
Brain Blast has a recharge, so he can't do it every turn. What he's going to do after that, he's going to move in and extract a brain from an incapacitated humanoid. So if you get stunned, then he's going to move in and do 10d10 piercing damage as you extract and devour his brain.
So it would be a matter of expect that he'd only be able to do that AoE once. Yeah, being together, not good.
Any other thoughts about this one?
Go first.
Yep.
Here it was short range Spirit Guardians. Piercers are probably on the bridge, absolutely. I didn't realize that Piercers don't have any other options. Like once they drop on you, that's it. They just sit on the ground. They can't drop again.
I found that out in one campaign I ran. I was like, ah!
So coat the ceiling pierces.
Not a good monster to drop unless you're dropping a lot of them or you're using them as a hazard.
Yeah, I ended up making mine crawl up the wall again to redrop.
We noted early on that our enemy did not have any meaningful ranged attacks, and so we could just sit and let them come into our chosen ground instead of having to chase them down. Normally, you've given highly mobile enemies some kind of ranged ability, so we couldn't just ignore them and let them run around. But in this case, they had to come to us. So we just said, hey, come on over, this area that's close to us where we control the ground. And then they decided to split up.
To be clear, I didn't give them ranged attacks. They either have ranged attacks or they don't.
You usually have enemies that have ranged attacks, and these ones did. And so it was just like, well, come on over.
I've told you this before. The statistic I heard was something like 67% of enemies in the monster manual do not have any ranged attacks. Now, that statistic might be wrong, but I don't think the sentiment is wrong. You're like, well, we're never going to find anything that doesn't have a ranged attack. It's like, okay, well, there's a lot of this book that's going to get thrown out the window then.
Yeah, I think some sort of other environmental threat may have helped cover it, but I don't know how you're setting up the maps themselves.
This one would have been a good one for dark somethings, the droppers.
Any manner of hidden cave fauna would have been good here. I've realized that repeating monsters is a good way to make the encounters feel stale.
It may have simply been a necessity on this one.
Lots of things are melee only, but we tend to fight those in closer environments. This is one of the largest maps I think we've ever had.
Looking at this map, how would you split it, right? How would you make it smaller? This and this are at the absolute limits of the screen. If I zoom in and say, okay, well, we'll just shorten it down to the bridge, it's like, well, then there's no bottom piece. It's just the middle, so.
If we had been facing the Mind Flayer versus monks in the close-in tunnels, the monks would have fared better, but the Mind Flayer could have fared better as well, because less susceptible to fireball.
So you're trying to keep these encounters simple, right? No complex mechanics or anything?
The goal is to recreate and simulate encounters that players are likely to see and use tactics that can be applied to as wide a variety of encounters that people are going to see as possible.
The only reason I bring it up is because I was trying to think of ways to make sitting on the near side of the map and standing there more difficult. What if there was a river and had to fight against the current? If we were trying to stand still.
There's certainly environmental factors. I think we've had environmental factors like that. Swift Current, we fought the Green Dragon fight.
And we had some of that tonight too, with the hip deep water type thing. I'm going to echo a sentiment. This map is too big. Not just from a encounter perspective, but I feel like this map does itself a disservice in a very combat-centric setting. You give the players a choke point option on the bridge. In our case, we know something's up. You can simulate this or say this is simulated in a regular game by players passing spot checks or doing preliminary research that indicates there is something amiss in the room. You could feed that information to the players. This is pass-fail, right? Do the players understand that there is a trap in this room, and do they have a solution for it? Yes, no. If yes, encounter significantly less dangerous. If no, encounter at expected danger level.
I don't think the Pierce are particularly dangerous, even if you don't know that they're there.
They're more of an annoyance than anything.
Perhaps instead of the piercers, you should have given one of the monks a ballista.
Rocket Monk!
That's not the stat lines that they have, but that would definitely do it. Just have them set up and shoot a ballista at you. This one, I think you guys executed exactly as it needs to be executed, right? You said, oh, this is limited mobility. Cool. Here's 2 flies, so we're going to ignore those, and a freedom of movement, so we're going to ignore that. One of you is back to normal movement, and the 2 of you are above normal movement. Fly on the rogue, magic missile for the fighter didn't happen. Spirit Guardians was perfect, of course, because they're all melee opponents. Guiding bolt and freedom of movement. Freedom of movement, of course, was perfect. Do you guys have any thoughts about it, or?
Is the trident not a thrown weapon? Can you not throw your trident?
You can, but you only have one. And it's their weapon, right? They throw it and then they're like, okay, I walk away now.
I thought they also had the net.
The net is garbage. It's the worst. God, it's so bad.
That was the one thing that I was worried about. I was worried about I was going to step forward to create that blocking sphere to protect the wizard, and I was just going to get peppered with projectiles. But if they had no plans to throw those, then that's it, is what it is.
No, maybe that's what I should have done. Maybe that's what I did wrong in my tactics.
Because if they each had like 3 javelins or something.
No, they don't have javelins. They just have the one spear, which is rough. It does a d6 piercing. They have a bite attack, which is a d4 plus 1 piercing. So it's like, okay, cool, you threw your spear, and now
Chomp chomp.
now you're just going to bite people. I really don't like throwing my one weapon away.
No, I get that. And psychologically, it doesn't make sense either. In my own campaigns, I would say, and they tied a rope to the trident to drag you in, or it's a harpoon and they drag you back.
Yeah, or my own campaigns, I would say, and they have 5 spears. You know, they're just going to keep throwing them. Why not? Or just instead of spears, they have javelins.
A bow of endless arrows.
A spear of endless points. I don't know what that would be exactly.
Spear of returning.
There you go. This is a pretty nice looking map. I like how it looks. You guys have actually fought on this map. I don't know if anybody recognizes it. It's just skinned differently.
No, I recognize this one. I remember the over and underpasses is why.
And then this one, I also like the look of this one. I like the feel of this one. This one, I think, is a lot of fun. Anytime you have the potential of just like, I can shove this person and they're falling down and they're gone for 2 rounds. Like, oh, it's just, it feels so good to just have that potential, even though it never got used. The tactics here were bunker up to the south, fireball forever, rush over the north, and banish the bosses. So bunkering up to the south, well, imagine that. You use the bunker as a bunker. Fireball forever. Why didn't...
Not effective.
Really? You didn't think the fireball forever was effective? Why not?
No, I'm totally kidding on that one.
The fireball forever was so effective that we nixed the banishment part of the plan in favor of more fireball.
Even the cleric tried to fireball.
Which I would say, if my 5th level spell was something other than Flame Strike, that's more what I would personally lean towards when I play Cleric, especially when I have both a Rogue and a Wizard in my party. I usually leave that up to them and look for something with more utility.
Like what?
One of the things that I was thinking of, like, way earlier on in the encounters was with the Fire Giant. Shape Stone would have saved the Fire Giant flanking completely, because I could just make a 5-foot block of stone in the middle of the pathway, and now that pathway is too narrow for him to traverse, that kind of thing. Or with this particular map, I can completely block off sections of this map by stone shaping. The way that I could have dashed over, and then when the bugbears try to get around at us, I just stone shape and that path's closed. It would have been, for me, more interesting tactically, and if I'm going to be casting a 5th level spell for damage anyway, it's way funnier if I upcast Inflict Wounds to 5th level.
What is that?
7d10.
Wow.
That's delete. You just turn into a puddle of blood.
Yeah, wounds inflicted. Banishment was suggested. Banishment, it's a concentration slot to save against it. What do we think about banishment as considering the opportunity cost that it's taking?
High risk, high reward.
You think it's a high reward? Okay.
I think it's a high enough reward when you have commanders that are actively buffing their allies. If that Hobgoblin Warlord had been able to concentrate more of its allies on a single platform, like within its range, and now they're all shooting at us with a higher potential for damage, then that would quickly have become a problem, especially if we had 2/3 the firepower that we did. More people shooting more arrows at a higher rate of accuracy would have been a bigger problem. Deleting the Hobgoblin Chief for a set period of time would have been potentially high risk, high reward, because at that point, he's back as soon as I fail one of the, let's say, 7 concentration checks I might eat at that point.
Yeah, might is definitely the catch there, because they need like a 17 and 16, I think, to hit you. So you're only going to really take one of them, make 1 concentration save, which is for you probably a 70% chance to pass, something like that. You're a +3, I want to say. Fail on a 6, so it's a 1 through 6. That's 30%, pass 70% of the time.
The other part of the high risk is it is a high level slot that can be used for something more useful. They have a chance to just resist it.
It's competing against a 4th level Spirit Guardians, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the most optimal option, but I can see the appeal, at least.
For single target encounters, right, for the first one, that would be perfect. You guys hit him with a banishment, ready actions, and the concentration, jump on him, then it's your turn again.
Yeah, but that actually does bring up another point. It's the difference in strategy between the first and last encounter. In the first encounter, I wouldn't want to be spending a 4th level spell slot already. In the last encounter, I'm blowing everything I've got.
That's certainly true, but you can still kind of gauge them out, right? Like first encounter, like, well, okay, I've got 3 3s, 3 4s, and a 5. So I could throw 1/3 or higher level spell per encounter. So maybe this one's going to be the banishment. interesting tactics you guys thought about and didn't get a chance to use that you wanted to?
I was gonna say this one, if Fly wasn't up, would probably been a use for the wind fan to potentially knock them in the pit.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Angling it would be tough.
Yeah, those 3 at the beginning, I had a potential of knocking 1 on the beam and the other two off the side because they were positioned like that.
I was hoping to try and fly between the islands more and put more pressure on the backside. Just having my own little personal sniper's nest to set up in was very nice and still fairly effective, right? My job was to execute any of the leaders that got in range, and that happened just fine. So,
any tactics that you guys were thinking for the enemies that you didn't see happen?
I think I mentioned it earlier as well. I think I expected them to concentrate around the chiefs than really happened. I think you only used the chief's ability, was it once?
I used both of them, I think. I want to say I used both of them. Hobgoblins have 11 hit points. They can't survive a fireball in any regard. Like, you have to roll so low.
1s across the board.
Yeah, something like that, right? What do you guys think was the most fun encounter, all things considered? What did you have fun with?
I just think seeing the rogue actually move around flying was kind of fun.
yeah, honestly, having movement speed was a lot of fun. Like, just straight up a ton of fun.
It's kind of weird how it's just like, just being able to move, like, oh, I can go wherever I want. I don't have to micromanage every single square.
Which could be a viable tactic for the future, too. I mean, giving you fly and letting you have that 60 foot of movement is great.
Yeah, it really is.
That last round, just having the spell slots to blow out and the health to engage. I mean, I didn't take any damage in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th fight. So getting to actually, tank things and getting lots of value out of dodge, I think this was the most fun fight. Both in terms of execution, but also in terms of just like, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of explosions. Lots of things are getting taken out. There were a bunch of priority targets, which was kind of cool. You could target the head hobgoblin, or you could target the lieutenant hobgoblin, or you could target the bugbear chieftain. I think that was definitely the fun one for me.
Now, I would agree on that last one, because when I have that many spell slots available and I know they're going to waste if I don't use them, that's when I can do whatever and just think about, oh, do I want to upcast inflict wounds? Do I want to heal for a bunch? Do I want to do this, that, or the other thing? And then, like what Fear was saying, having the multiple priority targets, that also gets the mind working. It's like, okay, which priority target do I want to take down first?
I think we ended up with what we did because we were conservative with the slots, because we had those fights with the knights and the monks where we didn't really need to use those slots in those fights.
These fights were very much, not a lot of resources need to be expended. Range attacks only, and then tank them. The melee combatants only get in combat. Any other thoughts from you guys?
I think, frankly, this was just kind of overall easy. We've talked a little bit about outcurving the difficulty of CR and the experience budget, and I think this is the first one where we really felt that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this was very much the last hurrah of the humanoid, right? This is the last chance that a lot of them have to ever show up and ever be meaningful. The things that were a threat here were the fire giant, the brain suckers. And I mean, that was pretty much it. Even the fishmen were just kind of like, yep, we're just going to kill him. We're going to shoot him down one at a time. So the low-level humanoids, I think, are going to show up in support roles. But much like the Dark Mantles did in here, they're going to be supporting roles to larger monsters in the future. And I think that's kind of all we're ever going to see of them again.
It's always nice to fight spawner Cthulhu's.
That's all for the encounters of the Underdark journey. Next week, we'll continue with level 10, fighting cosmic frogs in the outer planes. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Sarson Zero, and I hope to see you then.